For nights, more than 82,000 seats in a stadium built for massive events. And one name dominating the conversation before the spotlight even turns on: Bruno Mars. While the music world is busy talking about the 2026 MTV Video Music Awards, Bruno Mars is quietly delivering a statement that may be even harder to ignore. The superstar has officially sold out all 4 of his upcoming shows at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, with performances scheduled for August 21st, August 22nd, August 25th, and August 26th. Yes, for separate nights, for enormous stadium performances, and every single one is sold out. This is not simply another stop on a concert tour. This is the return of Bruno Mars to the US stage in a way that demonstrates just how powerful his name remains in the live entertainment industry. So before we go any further, make sure you hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because if you're following Bruno Mars, the romantic tour, the 2026 concert season, and everything happening around one of the biggest pop stars in the world, you do not want to miss what comes next. Because there is something fascinating about this moment. The headlines may be focused on awards, nominations, celebrity appearances, red carpet moments, and the growing anticipation surrounding the VMAs. But Bruno Mars is showing that sometimes the loudest statement does not come from an award stage. Sometimes it comes from a sold-out stadium. And when that stadium is MetLife Stadium, the scale becomes impossible to ignore. Imagine the scene. East Rutherford, New Jersey, a stadium capable of holding more than 82,000 people. For concert dates appearing on the calendar: August 21st, August 22nd, August 25th, August 26th, and now those 4 performances are officially sold out. That means thousands upon thousands of fans have already made their decision. They are not waiting to see whether Bruno Mars is still one of the biggest live performers in the world. They have already answered that question with their tickets. They want to be there. They want to see the lights go down. They want to hear the opening notes. They want to watch Bruno Mars walk onto that enormous stage. And they want to experience the romantic tour inside one of the largest stadium environments imaginable. This is where the story becomes bigger than 4 concert dates. Because Bruno Mars has spent years building something that cannot be created overnight. His success did not come from one viral moment. It did not come from one album. It did not come from one hit single. It came from years of songs that became global anthems, performances that became unforgettable, and a reputation for turning live concerts into full-scale entertainment experiences. From Just the Way You Are to Grenade, from Locked Out of Heaven to When I Was Your Man, from Uptown Funk to 24K Magic, Bruno Mars has accumulated a catalog that can connect different generations of listeners. And that catalog becomes especially powerful inside a stadium. Think about the difference between listening to a song through headphones and hearing more than 80,000 people react to the same song at exactly the same moment. That is the magic of a stadium concert. The artist performs, the crowd responds, and suddenly the music becomes something larger than the recording itself. That is exactly the environment Bruno Mars is preparing to enter. And here's the part that makes the timing even more interesting. The 4 MetLife Stadium performances are arriving at a moment when attention around Bruno Mars is already extremely high. The romantic tour has become one of the major concert stories of 2026, and the US return adds another chapter to that story. After the European and UK portion of the tour, Bruno Mars is now bringing the production back to American audiences. And MetLife Stadium is not just another venue. It is one of the most recognizable stadiums in the New York and New Jersey region, a massive sports and entertainment destination that has hosted some of the biggest events in the world. So when Bruno Mars takes that stage, the expectation is naturally enormous. But here's where we need to slow down, because selling out 4 stadium shows is not simply about the number printed on a seating chart. It is about demand. It is about momentum. It is about the ability of an artist to convince tens of thousands of people to commit to a live experience. And doing that once is impressive. Doing it twice is bigger. Doing it 4 times is a completely different conversation. Zoom in on that number. For nights. For opportunities for Bruno Mars to fill the stadium. for opportunities for fans to witness the same superstar in a completely different atmosphere each night. And because the dates are separated into two pairs, August 21st and 22nd followed by August 25th and 26th, the MetLife run creates an unusual rhythm. There is the opening night, then another show, then a short break, then two more nights. That gives the entire New Jersey run the feeling of an event rather than a single concert. And that matters because opening night in a major city can create enormous online attention. Fans will capture moments. Concert videos will spread across social media. Setlist discussions will explode. Outfit photos will circulate. Fan reactions will appear almost immediately. And every performance can create another wave of conversation. This is how a stadium tour becomes a digital event. You do not have to be inside MetLife Stadium to participate in the excitement. You can watch clips. You can follow fan reactions. You can search for the set list. You can debate which song received the biggest crowd reaction. You can watch Bruno Mars moments go viral. And suddenly, a concert happening in East Rutherford becomes a global conversation. That is the power of Bruno Mars. But there is another question hanging over these 4 nights. What will Bruno Mars do differently for the US return? Because after a major international run, expectations change. Fans have already seen photographs. They have already seen clips. They already know the production is massive. So the curiosity is no longer simply, will Bruno Mars put on a great show? That part is almost expected. The real question is, what happens when Bruno Mars returns to the American stage with the full momentum of the romantic tour behind him? Will there be new surprises? Will there be special moments? Will the set list create another viral performance? Will fans hear the songs they have been waiting for? And which moment from MetLife will become the clip that dominates social media? That is the kind of question that keeps a stadium concert alive long before the opening note. And this is where the story gets even more interesting, because Bruno Mars has never been an artist who depends entirely on spectacle. The spectacle helps. The lights help. The stage helps. The choreography helps. The musicians help. But at the center of everything is still the performer. The voice. The rhythm. The timing. The charisma. The ability to communicate with an audience. That combination is one of the reasons Bruno Mars has remained such a powerful live performer. He can move from high-energy funk to emotional ballads. He can turn a stadium into a dance floor. And then, within minutes, he can bring the energy down and make tens of thousands of people sing along to a single melody. That contrast is crucial, because a great stadium show cannot remain at maximum intensity for 2 hours. The audience needs peaks and valleys, explosions of energy, quiet moments, big choruses, unexpected transitions, and then another explosion. That is how retention works in music, and it is also why Bruno Mars concerts are so effective as visual entertainment. One moment, the entire stadium is moving. The next, the lights change. The camera moves closer. The crowd becomes illuminated. Then the band hits the next beat, and the entire building reacts. For the people attending the MetLife Stadium shows, those moments will become memories. For everyone watching online, those moments can become viral clips. And somewhere in between those two audiences is the bigger story. Bruno Mars is proving that the demand for major live pop entertainment is still enormous. The concert business has changed. Fans have more choices than ever. Artists compete for attention across streaming platforms, social media, television, festivals, award shows, and digital content. Yet, when a performer can sell out a stadium with more than 82,000 seats, the message is remarkably simple. People still want to see their favorite artists live. They still want the shared experience. They still want to stand among thousands of strangers who know every word to the same song. And Bruno Mars is giving them exactly that opportunity. Now think about the contrast one more time. While the entertainment industry turns its attention toward the VMAs, Bruno Mars is preparing for something much more physical. A stadium. A microphone. A band. thousands of fans, for nights, and a production designed to fill an enormous space. That contrast is what makes this story so compelling. The VMAs represent recognition. A stadium sellout represents demand. One is about nominations, awards, appearances, and headlines. The other is about people actually showing up. And Bruno Mars currently has people showing up. That does not make one more important than the other. It simply shows the different ways an artist can dominate a music conversation. And Bruno Mars is doing it through live performance. The August 21st opening night is especially significant. Opening night always carries a different kind of electricity. The audience knows they are among the first people to experience the US return. The artist knows every detail has been watched closely. The production team knows the cameras are ready. And social media is waiting. One unexpected moment can instantly change the conversation. A surprise interaction with the crowd. A memorable vocal performance. A new outfit. A special guest. Funny moment. A dramatic transition. Or simply Bruno Mars delivering one of his biggest songs in front of a massive audience. Any of those moments could become the defining image of the MetLife run. Then comes August 22nd, the second night. The pressure changes. The first night surprises are no longer surprises, but the crowd gets another opportunity to create its own energy. And then comes the short gap before August 25th. That pause creates anticipation. Fans begin asking what happened during the first two shows. Videos circulate. Reviews appear. Set lists are discussed. The best moments are reposted. And people who are attending the final two shows now know what they might be walking into. Then August 25th arrives. Another stadium night. Another huge crowd. Another opportunity for Bruno Mars to turn MetLife into one giant stage. And finally, August 26th, the fourth and final MetLife performance. The closing night of this four-show New Jersey run. By then, the story will have already developed. The first night will have created the initial shock. The second night will have added more moments. The third night will have restarted the momentum. And the fourth night could deliver the emotional finale. This is why four sold-out shows are so significant. It is not just 4 boxes checked on a tour schedule. It is 4 chapters of the same story. And each chapter can generate its own conversation. But perhaps the biggest takeaway is not what happens on any one night. It is what the sellout tells us before the first song even begins. Bruno Mars remains a stadium-level attraction. The name still carries enormous weight. The music still has the ability to bring huge crowds together. And the romantic tour is continuing to demonstrate the scale of that demand. There is also something poetic about the phrase, "Little King of the People," because Bruno Mars does not need to position himself as untouchable. His appeal has always been rooted in connection. He sings songs people recognize. He performs with musicianship. He dances. He jokes. He interacts with audiences. He creates moments that feel larger than a standard concert. And that relationship between performer and audience is ultimately what fills seats. The fans are not simply purchasing 2 or 3 hours of music. They are purchasing a memory. They are purchasing the feeling of being there when the lights went out, when the first beat hit, when Bruno walked onto the stage, when the crowd screamed, when an entire stadium sang the same chorus. And when the night finally ended, they could say, "I was there." That is the real currency of a stadium tour. And Bruno Mars has now sold that experience 4 times over at MetLife Stadium. So while the world continues to watch the awards season conversation, the countdown in East Rutherford is already underway. August 21st, August 22nd, August 25th, August 26th, for sold-out nights. More than 82,000 seats in a stadium designed for enormous crowds. One global superstar, one massive production, and tens of thousands of voices preparing to sing along. The question is no longer whether Bruno Mars can fill MetLife Stadium. He already has. The question now is what happens when the lights actually go down. What happens when the opening music begins? What happens when the first spotlight hits the stage? What happens when Bruno Mars finally steps in front of a sold-out New Jersey crowd after the long journey of the romantic tour? That is the moment everyone is waiting for. And perhaps that is why the timing matters so much. Because sometimes an artist does not need an award show to remind the world of their relevance. Sometimes the proof is sitting in the stands. Thousands of seats. Thousands of fans. For nights. Sold out. And a stage waiting for Bruno Mars. The VMAs may have the headlines, but in East Rutherford, Bruno Mars has something else. A stadium full of people who already made their choice. They chose the music. They chose the experience. They chose to be there. And now the countdown is almost over. August 21st is approaching. The US chapter of the Romantic Tour is ready to continue. MetLife Stadium is ready. The fans are ready. The band is ready. And Bruno Mars is about to walk into 4 nights that could become some of the most talked about concert moments of the summer. For sold-out performances. For massive crowds. For chances for history to be made. And when the first note finally rings through MetLife Stadium, the conversation surrounding Bruno Mars may sound very different. Because awards can create headlines. But a crowd of more than 80,000 people singing together? That creates a memory. And Bruno Mars is about to create 4 of them. If you're excited for Bruno Mars at MetLife Stadium, let us know which of the 4 dates you would choose. August 21st, August 22nd, August 25th, or August 26th. Drop your answer in the comments, subscribe for more Bruno Mars news, the Romantic Tour updates, concert moments, music industry stories, and breaking entertainment coverage, and stay with us because this US return is only getting started. The stage is waiting. The crowd is waiting. And Bruno Mars is coming home to the stadium. And just when it seemed like the story could not get any bigger, there is another layer to what these 4 sold-out nights at MetLife Stadium actually represent. Because in the modern music industry, attention is one thing. Demand is another. An artist can dominate social media for a day. A song can trend for a week. A celebrity can become the center of an awards season conversation overnight. But getting tens of thousands of people to physically purchase tickets and commit to seeing the same artist inside a stadium is a completely different level of measurement. That is why the Bruno Mars MetLife Stadium story deserves attention. This is not simply about a superstar returning to the United States. It is about the continued strength of live music. It is about the value of a catalog. It is about the relationship between an artist and an audience. And most importantly, it is about what happens when nostalgia, modern pop culture, musicianship, and pure entertainment collide in one enormous venue. Bruno Mars has something that is difficult to manufacture: recognition. The moment his name appears on a concert poster, people already know what kind of experience they might be getting. They know the songs. They know the performances. They know the energy. And many fans already understand that a Bruno Mars concert is not simply about standing in front of a stage and listening to an album performed from beginning to end. It is designed as an experience. That distinction becomes even more important when the venue is MetLife Stadium. A small theater allows an artist to create intimacy naturally. A stadium does the opposite. The artist has to make the person sitting hundreds of feet away feel connected to the performance. The production has to become larger. The lighting has to become more dramatic. The choreography has to read across an enormous field. The sound has to travel. And the performer has to command the attention of an audience that can stretch far beyond the stage. This is where Bruno Mars has an enormous advantage. His performance style was built for movement. It was built for rhythm. It was built around the idea that the audience should not simply watch. They should participate. They should clap. They should dance. They should sing. They should respond. And when tens of thousands of people do that simultaneously, the stadium itself almost becomes another instrument. You can imagine the moment. The lights begin to fade. The conversations stop. Phones rise into the air. The giant screens come alive. The opening sounds begin. Then the crowd realizes what is happening, and the noise gets louder, 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 until Bruno Mars appears. That is the kind of moment that cannot be reproduced through streaming, cannot be recreated by watching a music video, cannot be replaced by an awards show appearance. It can only happen when an artist and an audience occupy the same physical space. And that is precisely why the 4 MetLife dates matter. They represent 4 opportunities for that connection to happen at extraordinary scale. But there is another reason fans will be watching closely. The internet has changed the way concerts are experienced. In the past, a memorable concert moment might have been discussed among friends the next day. Today, one fan recording can reach millions of people before the performer has even left the stage. A single vocal moment can become a viral clip. A dance move can become a meme. A surprise interaction can spread across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and X within minutes. A celebrity appearance can become an entertainment headline before the final song. And that means every night at MetLife Stadium has the potential to create a completely new digital story. This is where the pressure and excitement become even greater, because Bruno Mars is not only performing for the people inside the stadium, he is also performing in an environment where millions of people outside the stadium will be watching the aftermath. They will be searching for Bruno Mars MetLife Stadium. They will be searching for Bruno Mars August 21st. They will be searching for Bruno Mars August 22nd. They will be searching for Bruno Mars August 25th. They will be searching for Bruno Mars August 26th. They will be searching for the romantic tour set list. They will be searching for concert videos. They will be searching for the best Bruno Mars performance. And every one of those searches can create another wave of attention. That is how modern concert culture works. The event happens in one location, but the conversation happens everywhere. And with Bruno Mars, that conversation can move extremely quickly. There is also the emotional factor. For many fans, seeing Bruno Mars live is not simply about hearing current music. His catalog is connected to different moments in their lives. A song can remind someone of school. Another can remind someone of a relationship. Another can bring back memories of a particular year. Another can remind someone of a party, a road trip, a wedding, or a family celebration. That emotional connection is one of the strongest forces in live entertainment. When an artist performs a familiar song in a stadium, the audience is not only responding to the music, they are responding to their own memories. And when thousands of individual memories suddenly become one collective reaction, the atmosphere can become incredibly powerful. That is the Bruno Mars advantage. He has music that can move between generations. Parents know the songs. Young fans know the songs. Older listeners recognize the melodies. Newer listeners discover them through streaming and social media. And all of those audiences can exist inside the same stadium. That creates something rare, a genuinely cross-generational concert experience. Now imagine that happening for 4 consecutive performances. The first night will establish the atmosphere. The second night will build on it. The third will bring another wave of excitement. And the fourth will close the run with all of the momentum accumulated from the previous shows. That is why fans are already watching every detail. They are watching for production changes. They are watching for guest appearances. They are watching for outfits. They are watching for setlist surprises. They are watching for Bruno's interactions with the crowd. And most importantly, they are watching for the moment that becomes the defining memory of the MetLife run. But there is one thing that should not be overlooked. A sold-out stadium does not happen because of one song. It happens because an artist has built trust with an audience. People believe the ticket will be worth it. They believe the performance will be memorable. They believe the experience will justify the money, time, travel, and effort required to attend. And Bruno Mars has spent years building exactly that kind of trust. His live reputation is part of the product. His musicianship is part of the product. His catalog is part of the product. His stage presence is part of the product. And when all of those elements come together, the result is an event rather than simply a concert. That may be the biggest story behind the 4 MetLife sellouts. It is not only that Bruno Mars is popular. It is that people still believe seeing Bruno Mars live is worth experiencing in person. And in an era where entertainment is increasingly consumed through screens, that is significant. We can stream almost anything. We can watch performances from home. We can replay music videos thousands of times. We can listen to entire albums without leaving our bedrooms. But none of those experiences can reproduce the physical sensation of standing inside a stadium while thousands of people scream at the same time. That is what live music still owns. The shared moment, the unpredictability, the atmosphere, the memory. And Bruno Mars is about to bring all of that back to MetLife Stadium. There is also a symbolic element to the location. New York and New Jersey are among the most competitive entertainment markets in the United States. The audience has access to countless concerts, Broadway shows, sporting events, festivals, and major entertainment productions. For a superstar to command 4 stadium dates in this market is a powerful statement. Fans have choices, lots of them. Yet Bruno Mars has created enough demand to fill MetLife Stadium 4 separate times. That is not something that happens automatically. It requires a fan base willing to show up. It requires a catalog capable of supporting a major live show. And it requires an artist capable of carrying the attention of an enormous crowd. So when people describe Bruno Mars as a little king of the people, the phrase can be understood through this exact connection. The superstar image may be enormous. The stadium may be enormous. The production may be enormous. But the emotional relationship between Bruno and his fans remains surprisingly simple. Music, performance, connection, and the desire to share one unforgettable night. That is why the countdown toward August 21st feels so significant. The first US show of this stretch is not simply another date on a calendar. It is the beginning of another wave. Once those stadium gates open, the digital conversation will accelerate. Fans will arrive early. The venue will fill. Merchandise lines will grow. Phones will come out. The atmosphere will build. And eventually, the moment will arrive. The lights will go down. The crowd will erupt. And Bruno Mars will take the stage. At that point, all the statistics become secondary. The ticket numbers, the stadium capacity, the tour rankings, the social media posts, the headlines. They all lead to one thing, the performance. Because ultimately, that is where Bruno Mars has always had to deliver. And if history is any indication, the audience will be ready. So keep your eyes on MetLife Stadium, because August 21st, 22, 25, and 26 are no longer simply dates on a tour schedule. They are 4 sold-out opportunities for Bruno Mars to remind the world why live performance remains one of the most powerful forces in music. For nights, 1 stadium, 1 superstar, and thousands of fans who already made their decision. The tickets